Good evening, everyone. I'd like to report to you that this afternoon we had a workshop on facilities. Following that, we went into closed session and we had a conference with our district labor negotiator, Mr. Pulver, and then we had a public employee discipline dismissal release consultation, and then matters pertaining to pupils. There was no action taken at that time. So now we're going to go into our Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd like Marilyn Barnett to come forward and lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I heard there were McAuliffe students that were going to sing for us. The patriotic song? The staff. Oh. Yes. Sure.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to see you all. I'm happy to introduce Camille Bissell, who is making a repeat performance here at the board meeting because she was so outstanding last year. She will be singing for us this evening.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. I now have Mrs. Scatulli to introduce some guests for us.
Thank you, Mrs. Russell. It's my pleasure to introduce some of my cohorts in education for the North Orange County Regional Occupation Program, which is a career technical education. It's a consortium of 5 school districts, of which we're part of it. I'd like to introduce Dana Lynch, who's the Assistant Superintendent of ROP, and Kathy Kent, who is the Administrator in charge of the ROP programs on the LaSalle High School campus. Thank you.
And welcome to our meeting, and welcome to all of you who are attending this evening. You're our special guests as well, so thank you for coming to the meeting. First, we have our student board report, and Megan Wayman, who is it? I keep saying all my stuff.
Thank you, and good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Kropp, cabinet members, friends, family, and community. I am Megan Wyman, and I will be presenting tonight's student board report. So tonight, I just wanted to catch you all up on Los Al sports. Fall season went off with such a hit, and every sport was so successful. For example, girls tennis, they had an amazing Sunset League run. They were Sunset League champions. Although they didn't go very far in CIF, they had an amazing time during league, and I know many girls on the tennis team, and it was such an awesome way for them to end their senior year off with a win in the Sunset League. Also, our freshman football team won Sunset League Sunset League champions. It's really cool to see how excited the freshmen get at the football team. They know that their future is going to be on the varsity team, and just to have that win as even in the freshmen as Sunset League champions is kind of like a boost of confidence, and I'm really excited to see what that class does as they move on to JV and varsity teams. Also, once again, as usual, cross country did amazing. We are such high level of cross country, and actually the girls are moving on to the CIF finals this weekend, so that's going to be really amazing to see how well they run as usual. The boys did really well too, didn't go as far in CIF, but still as usual performed really great. Also, we're really excited, varsity football, for the first time in a while, we are in the second round of CIF this Friday at home at Vets at 7. We're wearing blue, so make sure you come out and support our boys. They are so excited for this, and I know the seniors really want to keep their season going, and they want to make our whole community proud, so I'm really excited to see what those boys do this Friday. So next, moving on to around the district, we're really happy because Hopkinton celebrated being recognized as a National Blue Ribbon School with the flag ceremony. You can see, obviously, members of the board were there to present them with numerous plaques and awards, and it was so cool that all of the students were out there and able to support their school and really see how amazing their place is at Los Al. And I think this just is such an example of how great Los Al is, and that one of our schools is National Blue Ribbon is amazing, but the fact that many of our schools have been it in the past is even more amazing. So it's great to see that they celebrated such an amazing accomplishment. So also at LAE, they're ambassadors, almost like student leaders, collected candy for troops. So they collected Halloween candy, leftover Halloween candy from the kids at school, and then are going to go send those to troops overseas. So I think it's great, starting at a young age, even at elementary school, making sure that these kids know that it's important to give to those who are serving our country is really cool, and that they're so excited in these pictures and look like they're having such a great time, I think is a really cool thing. And I know we had a similar program at the high school, so the fact that it's spread throughout the whole district is something really cool. Lastly, I would like to talk about, at Los Al, we're definitely known for doing our own jumping on that viral train. So this is another thing. The Mannequin Challenge has been going on worldwide, and it's something that seems pretty silly, but actually a lot harder than it looks. So one day at lunch, for a cool lunchtime activity, we played a song in the background, and then everyone stood for the whole version of the song. So it was a really hot day outside, so everyone started sweating, and we tried to stay still for as long as we could. You could see a bunch of the baseball boys pretended to be playing baseball, and other people were just doing everyday things. But the fact that we could stay still for that long as high school students at lunch was pretty amazing. And it's just another thing that Los Al does to stay in the know and to just be incorporated in our atmosphere and social media. So that's really awesome. And that's all I have tonight, but thank you.
Megan, may I ask you a quick question? I just want to know how you feel reporting on not only the high school, but also the other schools, and also going out to the community and stuff.
I personally love it. I've grown up in Los Alamitos, Seal Beach, Rossmore my whole entire life. So I think it's my duty as a high school student to be aware of what's going on, not only at my school, but the whole district. And this is my alumni. The elementary schools, the middle schools, it's where I come from. It's who I am. because of them, it's who I am today. And I think it's really important for everyone in the community to know that it's not just about Los Alamitos High School, but it's about the surrounding communities, and it's about the elementary schools who are shaping us to go to middle school, who are shaping us to be lifelong Griffins. So I really enjoy branching out and going to the different schools and the community.
Thank you very much. Very well said.
Well, next is my report, and you probably wonder why we have such great choirs and performances at the high school. Well, it's because they get them ready at the elementary school and the middle school level. And so one of the great opportunities was afforded to the community was performances actually by both of our middle schools at 2 separate weekends. And I think Mrs. Catulli went to the McAuliffe one and I went to the McGaw one. And here you see the McAuliffe Middle School choir that had over 200 participants in a performance called Volver, The Return. And they were also learning about, in classrooms, about Day of the Dead and how different cultures celebrate that particular aspect. And I also saw that, they charge to get into the performances, and that part of the proceeds went to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which is a really big part of that school's outreach to the community. Then I went to the McGaw Middle School performance. It was all, well, I should go, they had a Broadway performance at McGaw School, for Oak Middle School, I should have said, it's not, they also had some other things at the school itself, which was a drama presentation called The Election. That was probably interesting. And then we had the jazz band as well that performed at Wings, Wheels, and Rotors. Easy for me to say, right? Yeah. And also at Taste for LoSal. And so, as I said, you wonder why all of the performances at the high school are so good, because they're really good at the elementary and middle schools as well. Then we also had a very special day at the high school, which is called Signing Day, and there were 14 participants, and I think one of them was a boy. All the rest were girls. Yeah. I thought that was very significant. Yeah. And 11 of them, the girls signed to play softball. I believe one was water polo, and they were absolutely outstanding schools, as you can see up there. University of Maryland, Ohio University, Iowa State, Boston. University of Oregon, Michigan State, Regis, UC San Diego, University of Oklahoma, Boston College, Cal State Dominguez. So we have these students not only are great athletes, they're also student scholars. They have to meet all the requirements to get into those universities in order to get these scholarships. So congratulations to them, and we wish them the best. Okay, therein is my report. And next we have Dr. Kropp.
Thank you, Madam President, esteemed members of the board, and all of our guests tonight. I'm going to report a little bit. I'm going to start with Veterans Day, so I have some pictures that are going to come up there, but our schools do such a phenomenal job really recognizing, honoring, and celebrating our veterans. So I just selected a few pictures. They weren't the best. All of them were spectacular, but this is one, and it just gives you a flavor of what it was like to call our veterans forward and to honor them. Schools had where veterans were invited. Other schools had veterans come with a student member. So they often, or some of the time, were fathers and grandfathers and mothers and what have you not. And there also were, I saw a school that had the high school band playing, and it was an elementary school that had cheerleaders there. So it really, the variety was unbelievable. But I also saw veterans with tears in their eyes. And, and I think for so many, I'm getting all weepy now, but for some of our veterans, some of certain ages did not come home too much of a hero's welcome. And I think that them, as well as all, that they really appreciated what was happening at our schools and were really touched. And so I was able to make it by a few, and every year I make it to at least one. And the veterans, what they say to me personally, does transform my my thinking in my life and what I value. So you can see by a few of those pictures how much it really means to them, and to come and be recognized. So just really hats off to our schools. And then I'm going to just add on to something Karen said, and Megan too, or President Russell and our student rep Megan, is that we are one high school district. And so every student is going to be a future Griffin. And this year, more than any other year, we have seen so much crossover between our sites, either older kids going to younger campuses and vice versa. And so we've also seen more crossover within disciplines. And so, for example, the halftime show at the high school for homecoming had 600 kids on the field. So choir, drama, dance, cheerleaders, song, band, all came out at the same time to celebrate. And we've really now gone into our K-12 really crossing. So I think it matters, and I hope that we continue to do even more and more to connect our kids to our communities. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Very good. Now we're on to the McAuliffe Middle School report and student board report. Mrs. Allen.
Good evening, esteemed board members. I'm glad to see you all here. Good evening, district cabinet. Good evening, teachers, staff, parents, community members. Thank you for coming this evening. Welcome to McAuliffe 2016-2017. It is my charge today. Oh, Tina. Oh, hold on. To talk with you about how we accomplished the district priority goals at McAuliffe, and I'm happy to do so. We do want to achieve all of those goals to the best of our ability. I'm not going to read them for you, but I am going to tell you how we get there. And one of the ways that we get there is through what I call eagle pride. I can tell you, as being a staff member at McAuliffe Middle School for over 30 years, it has never been better. It is remarkable. Our community is a professional learning community. I appreciate and value the board and the district for giving us the time to collaborate with one another, to collaborate with our sister middle school, and to collaborate with anyone in the district that chooses to collaborate. But it is most effective when trying to passionately pursue academic excellence for all of our students. And I will tell you that our teachers are absolutely brilliant. R stands for respect for all. We pride ourselves on respecting everyone. Our campus is very diverse. We love it that way. I for instruction. Again, we try to deliver outstanding instruction for all students every day. D for differentiation. We have programs in place, again, thanks to the board and district office administration for their generosity, where we can differentiate learning for every student so that we can meet their unique needs. And finally, E, we always strive for excellence. So as an administrator, it's my job to try to inspire our teachers every year in some fashion to get them ready for the school year. And so this year, for some reason, was a little more difficult than others. And finally I said, well, Annie, what inspires you? Well, I'll tell you. Music inspires me, specifically rock and roll music, delivered by this fabulous band. Oops. The Foo Fighters. I don't know if any of you know them, but they are a remarkable band for the last 20 years. So on my first day of school meeting, I didn't show a TED Talk video. I didn't show an inspirational video from YouTube. Rather, I showed a rock and roll video by the Foo Fighters. What a risk. I thought, my goodness, these teachers are going to think this 58-year-old woman has lost her mind, or they're going to get into it. They got into it. And as I say, you're never too old to rock. And so how did the Foo Fighters inspire us? Well, it started last year at 8th grade promotion, where we sang a song. Our choir sang a song, and it was called Times Like These. And I think these words so fit appropriately with what we as educators get to do every single year. Every fall, we get to come back and do it all over again. And so as the Foo Fighters say, it's times like these you learn to live again. You learn to give and give again. You learn to love again. And it's times like these, especially for an old timer like me, time and time again. And it is a blessing. I need to share that with you. Oh, geez. Okay, so, like the Foo Fighters, we want to exhibit passion, clarity of purpose, and excellence every day. We want to engage and delight all of our fans with our infectious enthusiasm. We want to strive for greatness at present and for years to come. And someday, maybe, we'll be remembered in some sort of Hall of Fame. And as educators, what does that translate to for us, in addition to those things? We want to connect with students and parents. We want to exhibit kindness and compassion for everyone. Our message to students is, we are your biggest fans and we will do anything to help you. My message to staff is, let your eyes light up when those students enter the room. And finally, we want to provide opportunities and have a common thread through everything for community service. So district priority number 1, passionately pursuing academic excellence for all students. Some of the things that we do, I've already talked about, the instruction. We do implement district signature practices and school signature practices, and we are very fortunate to be in possession of all of the technology that we have so that we can increase students' digital literacy and use that technology every day. Again, thank you. So some of the district and school signature practices that they are systemic to our school. Depth of complexity, thinking maps, active engagement strategies, close reading. Writing across content areas is something that we're working on and very excited about. And then, of course, some of the new technology that we have. Vocabulary.com, No Red Ink, Google Classroom, Reading Plus, Turnitin. I could go on and on. Reading Plus is a new pilot that we're doing right now. It's a very comprehensive reading program. We got it free for the first semester. We're evaluating it tomorrow with some representatives to determine our next steps. We also are a very research-based school. I'm going to tell you a funny story. So a parent came into my office a couple of weeks ago, and there's a framed picture of a distinguished gentleman on the wall. And the lady said to me, "Gee, Mrs. Ellen, your husband is very attractive." And I said, "Oh, that's not my husband. That's Dr. Robert Marzano. He's my favorite educational researcher." She laughed a little, and I laughed a lot. Anyway, for the last couple of years, we have pursued learning about his latest findings in reading the book together, Awaken the Learner, Finding the Source of Effective Education. And at our staff development day this year, Phil Bowen and I, my assistant principal, we did a staff development presentation on motivating and inspiring students, strategies to awaken the learner as a follow-up. And it was really effective. And again, that PLC mentality was so there. It was amazing. In order to also passionately pursue academic excellence for all kids, we also have a number of student support programs. Again, I'm not going to read all of them to you. I'm just going to touch on a couple of them. Some of them that I'm most grateful for and I am most supportive of are the co-teaching classes that we have in English language arts and math at grades 7 and 8. That's when a general education teacher and a special education teacher team together to teach a group of students. It is amazing for all students, but especially for our students with special needs who really benefit from having that content and curriculum in a regular class setting. It's wonderful. We also have our literacy core at grade 6. That is a wonderful program. And then many of the other ones that you see up here that I've discussed with you in previous years. I will also say that our summer school program and the bridge classes that were created last summer were very effective in helping meet student needs and having them reach to higher limits. So now let's prove it. Are we doing it? Well, I think so. Why do we look at SBAC testing results? Well, we do that to inform our teaching. We do it to evaluate our support programs. And we do it so that we can make sure our students meet their goals and the highest goals possible. So let's take a look at it. In 6th grade English language arts, last year, 75% of our students met or exceeded standards. This year, 79% did. In 6th grade math, 66% met or exceeded standards last year. This year, 74%. In 7th grade language arts, last year, 75% met or exceeded standards. This year, 81%. In 7th grade math, this was beautiful growth. The first year, 60% students met or exceeded standards. This year, 72%.
Oh, I think that's
It's significant. Yeah. And in 8th grade, 81% the first year, 82% the second. In English language arts. And in math, 69% meeting or exceeding standards went up to 72%. So it's all going in the right direction, and I'm thrilled about that. Of course, we want all of our students to meet or exceed standards, but I think we're on the path, and I'm thrilled to be there. Okay, so District Priority 2, healthy, safe, and drug-free environment. There are lots of programs in place at McAuliffe to make sure that we have the best environment for our students. Obviously, we have a safe school plan. We have representatives on all of our district task forces, including the violence, bullying, and drug prevention task forces. We have voluntary student drug testing, regular visits by the drug prevention canine, alternative to suspension program for students who have problems with drugs or alcohol, and I'm happy to report that we haven't had any of that this year. We also have, and again, thanks to you and the cities of Los Alamitos and Seal Beach, 2 campus security supervisors. I'm thrilled with that as well. Lock blocks on all of our doors. We have limited access points to campus after school is in session. Window film on all the windows, a new visitor management system, and regular emergency drills, all to keep our kids safe. For District Priority 3, we want to enhance communication for all stakeholders. And so we have bi-weekly PTA newsletters, frequent use of our auto dialer and email. Some might say a little too frequent, but I say you can never over-communicate. We have a vibrant and active PTA, school site council, our website, and oh my goodness, isn't that marquee just fabulous?
Yeah, nice.
For District Priority 4, we want to make sure that the money that we receive is managed well. So our LCFF funding goes to fund our literacy core at 6th grade and some other things, miscellaneous things. We have math intervention classes in our school day, grades 6, 7, and 8. Thank you. We have a technology plan, and we'll be rolling out a Bring Your Own Device program this year. And finally, we have ongoing school and PTA fundraising. And if you're interested in bouncing around in large bounce houses or going into a hamster ball, come on over on Thursday. Our kids will have their Step It Up fundraiser party on the field, periods 1 through 4. Okay. And finally, District Priority 5, to modernize and maintain and optimize the use of facilities. I can't thank you enough. Our school campus is a showplace. And when school campuses look beautiful, they are treated respectfully. The outdoor amphitheater that you're looking at a picture of has already been used so many times this year, and I'm very appreciative of all the work and the funds that went into that project. But the whole campus is beautiful, beautifully landscaped, repainted lockers. It's just stunning. So thank you very much. beautification, as you can see. And then how do we bring it all home? Well, we focus on academics, athletics, activities, and the arts. So an example of academics, here are some of our kids on Modeling Monday, a math thing that we're now doing, I believe, district-wide. For athletics, this is Mr. Robinson, one of our PE teachers. This is not even at our school. Talk about connectedness. Mr. Robinson went to his students' travel ball game just to give them support. I thought that was amazing. And so didn't their parents. Activities. Just last weekend, one of the 20 clubs that we have at McAuliffe, this is the, help me. Thanks. Okay, I'm sorry, I had a brain fade. The Best Buddies Club. There's Nicole Manley, who was our advisor, and Anne-Marie Bergeron, our school psychologist, took a group of kids to the Special Olympics just last week. And that's just one of the many activities we have. We have student socials at grades 6, 7, and 8, dances, lots of things for kids to do, at lunch, after school. Peace Week was a success, as was Red Ribbon Week. These are some of our kids with their, at a lunchtime activity where they record their random acts of kindness. And finally, this was most touching. As I said, we like to have community service as a thread throughout everything. Dr. Kropp was able to come over to attend this event. Our Make-A-Wish Foundation Club raised $5,000 to grant the wish of this young lady, who is a local girl who lives in Buena Park. She visited our school at lunch one day. The Make-A-Wish Foundation came out and presented us with a plaque. And our students were so moved by what she had to say. Her wish was to meet Carrie Underwood, and so she did. And to have kids see that kind of thing really happen is so gratifying for everybody involved. And of course, we have the arts. This was during Red Ribbon Week, I believe. The kids were doing a flash mob at lunch to a Justin Timberlake song. And we do all kinds of things. President Russell talked with you about the play. That was an amazing event that we had at school already, and we're looking forward to concerts and all kinds of things with the arts this year. So thank you for listening to me this evening. I'm appreciative of your time and appreciative of all that you do for our school and our students and our community.
Yes, Mrs. Allen, I just wanted to make a comment about your test scores. We're not just about test scores, but it's where we actually do get our information. Are we doing things properly? Are the children making progress? Should we continue what we're doing? We really delve into the data to fine-tune the art that occurs in the classroom instruction. But I just wanted to say that when you're above about 60 or 70% in anything, to keep increasing every year becomes more challenging. But if you are the child or the parent of a child who is below the at grade level or exceeding grade level, it's so important that we keep increasing every year. And I'd like to commend you and your staff for all the effort they put in there to make sure every child succeeds.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Your student members.
Student report? Okay. So this year I'm doing a student report that's a little bit different. At our leadership advance, I was inspired by a video we saw. And that video showed teachers in a school district that were asked by their principal to take pictures of students that made them want to come to work each day. And so I thought, I'm going to share that with you. Middle school is kind of like a journey. And when you listen to these students that I'm going to introduce to you tonight, I want you to listen to their journey and what mattered most to them. So our first student reporter is Mary Andrews. I know. It's okay. I got you. All right. Okay.
My name is Mary Andrews. I have attended school in Los Alamitos since 3rd grade. I can't read this. After promoting from Los Alamitos Elementary at the end of 5th grade, I decided to attend to McAuliffe. I would like to give you my impression of what I have experienced in middle school. School has been challenging ever once in a while because I have some health issues, but these issues have not stopped me from being successful. I left 6th grade core class. The teacher was so nice and always gave me more time to complete my work when I needed it. 7th grade was my best year. The teachers were super nice and sweet. They were patient and kind to me. I had lots of help completing my work, and if I needed to take a test on a different day, they would always let me do that. 8th grade has been great so far. My math teacher always explains things step by step to make sure that we know what to do. It's my favorite class. True story. I have loved everything about middle school because everybody that I know at McAuliffe has been kind and caring towards me. The most important lesson I learned was to never give up, even when things are rough and it seems impossible. Thank you for listening.
And that's my Mary, one of the many students that makes me want to come to work each day. And now, I'd like to introduce you to Ben Saunders.
All right.
Okay, here you go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ben Saunders, and I've been attending school in Los Alamitos since I was in kindergarten, going to McGaw Elementary through 5th grade. I would like to tell you about my journey at McAuliffe. My 6th grade year was very nerve-wracking for me. I noticed that a lot of people I saw every day I knew from elementary school, and that made me feel very comfortable, and after a while it wasn't so bad at all. I struggled a bit in 7th grade too. I used to get confused with my grammar and reading subjects, but by attending study halls with my teachers and Principal Academy, it helped me get through the rest of my year. So far, 8th grade has been simple and exciting. I don't struggle as much with my grammar and reading subjects. I really got to know my English teacher very well, and that helped me even more in those areas. Going into high school will be a bit frightening, but middle school has done a lot to prepare me for what will come my way. Everyone starts at the bottom and has to work to move up, and I did just that at McAuliffe, and I know that I can do it again. Thank you for listening.
And that is Ben Saunders. And our last student, Desiree Sturrock.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, district administrators, and staff, parents, and students. My name is Desiree Sturrock, and I am an 8th grader at McAuliffe Middle School. I have attended school in the Los Alamitos district since the age of 5 when I was in kindergarten at Hopkinson Elementary School. I've had an amazing journey at McAuliffe. Starting in 6th grade, my older sister helped me learn how to find my classrooms, but I still got lost on the first day and couldn't open my locker until the 5th try. I was eager to work hard and wanted to be a straight-A student, but soon realized that it was harder to achieve this goal in middle school. Even though I focused mostly on school that year, I always had music as an outlet and played cello for school orchestra. Music lit a path for me and helped me thrive, especially when academic subjects seemed more challenging than ever. It was because of the cello that my music teacher thought that I might be good at playing the bass, so in 7th grade, I joined the McAuliffe Jazz Band as a bass player. Joining jazz band was a big commitment. It's like club sports for music. Most of my time was consumed by both jazz band and orchestra. Keeping up with school and 2 instruments was hard. During 2nd semester, my grades suffered and I didn't even realize I was slipping. By the end of the year, I started to consider quitting orchestra, but I was able to get my grades back up to all A's, except for 1 B+ in PE. Now that 8th grade has started, I feel more confident, and my family, teachers, and friends have helped me become more independent. School requires even more effort, but I am getting better at managing my time and asking for help when I need it. Overall, my experiences, teachers, and friends at McAuliffe have helped me in so many ways, and I have many great memories. My favorite memory was something that happened at the end of 7th grade during the last concert of the season. All the instrumental music groups, almost 200 students, played a song called Solo Bossa Nova as the finale. At the time, I was thinking of quitting the program because of my struggles with grades, but being with all my friends and fellow musicians and having the chance to play such a fun song together helped me realize how fortunate I was to be part of such an amazing program and work with such great people. On the way home, my mom asked me what I thought of the concert, and I remember feeling very emotional. I told her that the concert finale helped me realize just how much my musical experience at McAuliffe meant to me, and at that moment I decided that no matter what, I would continue playing for McAuliffe. I think I learned some very important lessons from all of this, that sometimes you don't get everything you want, and sometimes things that are difficult take a lot of time and effort. But the time you put into it is worth it, and being involved in something you truly love is what makes school really great. I know that as I move on to LaSalle and become a Griffin, I will always carry these lessons with me. Thank you for listening.
Just by meeting these three students, can you see why I love middle school so very much? Can we give them one more round of applause?
Now you have the heroes of the heart.
All right. It is with great pleasure that I introduce you to McAuliffe's 2016-17 Hero of the Heart recipient, Dave Locke.
There he is.
I tricked you. He's usually the one that tricks me. I will never forget the day that I met him. He came in to speak with me about his son's schedule, and we had a lively and thoughtful discussion. And I remember thinking, this dad really knows his child. And over time, I've come to know that he's devoted to his entire family, to our schools and our community. Come up close to me, Dia. Okay.
I'm afraid if I come closer, you make me talk.
No, I won't. When his children attended Hopkinson, he served on the school site council, was the PTA treasurer for 2 years, and was the PTA president for an additional 2 years. At McAuliffe, he has cheerfully volunteered for dances, student socials, back-to-school night events, anything that we ask him to do. And that's not all. While he does all of this, he served as a board member and coach for the St. Hedwig baseball program, and has been very active on behalf of his church, serving 2 years on the governing board and on the building committee. One of his dear friends shared the following with me. Above all, Dave brings efficiency and logic to all of his volunteer positions. He's always the last guy at the field or at the carnival, pitching in. His attitude is contagious, and he always positively encourages others to pitch in. And I really couldn't agree more. Dave, thank you for all that you've done for our schools and our community.
Thank you for that inspiring report. And now we will be taking the all-important break for about 10-15 minutes, and I believe there are cookies, so the most important part. Okay, cookies. And pictures. Oh, don't forget, we have pictures up front, so all our awardees. Okay, let's call this meeting back to order. And we're on first to community staff participation, and I have no cards, so I assume there is no one here to speak. We have no information presentations, and so we're moving to consent, and I'm going to pull first item 10K. So a motion would be in order unless there are any, I don't think there are any more pulls. A through J and L through Z.
Also move.
I'll second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Now, we're pulling K because there's actually zero cost for this item, which on the agenda had a cost, and I think, Meg, you asked about that today,
Yes,
right?
I did.
Okay, so we need a motion that will say there is no cost.
I move that we amend consent item 10K so it is noted that there is no cost to the district.
Is there a
I'll second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Now we're on to action. I'm sorry. Yes. Action, which is approval to hold our annual organizational meeting on December 13th, 2016, which has to be between December 2nd and December 16th, so that would fall within that. And that's when we will be doing our board officers and assignments. So a motion would be in order to approve that date.
So moved.
Second?
Properly moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Seeing none. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And we're on to consideration and approval of the Career Technical Memorandum of Understanding. I can talk. Dr. Polder.
Thank you, Madam President, esteemed members of the board. I'm pleased to bring forward to you tonight. It is a new salary schedule and some contract language with our career technical education teachers. We do partner with North Orange County RLP for some of our career technical ed, but we also staff two of our own, one in our engineering program and one within our sports medicine. And so as they came onto LoSal staff, we had to work to bring them into the fold of our negotiations with our association. Our board had the vision to really create a merit-based compensation structure, which really I think is trailblazing a little bit out there. And fortunate that we also have really good relationships with our association, who really, when we said this was the need that we wanted to embark upon, they joined us. And so this salary schedule is both a salary schedule that honors experience and along with additional merit incentives across the board.
Okay. If the motion would be in order to approve that.
So moved.
Okay, if there's a second.
Second?
Any discussion? Seeing none. Pardon me?
It's just a good work.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
And I was just going to say, I really appreciate, we gave you quite a task, and I know that it took some very creative thinking, and it took a lot of collaboration, and we really appreciate that and appreciate moving forward.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say as well, this was not the board's micromanaging. So although we wanted this, you guys were the brainchild of the nuts and bolts behind it, and your ability to craft something that was both acceptable and novel and good for the district, I think is fantastic. And I'm excited that we were able to work within the rules and create something that's unique that I'm not sure has been done before. And I'm hoping we can expand upon it in the future. So thank you for your effort.
Okay, any further discussion or comment? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. Then we're on next to classified personnel and our certificated personnel. Dr. Pulver, okay. And a motion be in order to approve C and D.
I'll make a motion that we approve C and D.
I'll second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries 5-0. And we're on to warrants. You have a motion to approve those?
I'll move approval of the warrants as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I just want to make sure that we always make very clear to the public that when we get the pages of warrants, each individual for our review, and any questions that we may have related to any warrants are always answered before we have a board meeting. So I appreciate staff doing that and making sure that we have those answers.
Okay. Any other comments or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Acceptance of donations, and now we have coming before us all the items from our generous community. So motion would be in order to approve those donations.
I'll move approval as presented.
Second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Thank you, thank you.
Yes. Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're on to an approval of an agreement of and stipulation to a student suspended expulsion, waiver of hearing and appeal rights. Mrs. Cattouli.
It is moved that the agreement and stipulation to a student suspended expulsion waiver of hearing and appeal rights for student A be approved for violation of the following education codes: 48900A1 through the spring semester of the 2016-17 school year, with an agreement end date of October 6, 2017.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And we're on to communication, and start with you, Dr. Barkey.
Thank you. So first of all, I'd just like to say congratulations to Dave, Meg, and Karen for your reelection.
Thank you.
And to thank you all for your service to the public, to the service to the community, service to the kids. This is not an easy job, and it's a very time-consuming job, and it really takes a level of dedication that all three of you have. And it's an honor for me to be able to serve with you guys, at least for another couple years. And you never know what's going to happen.
You never know.
It's
So we're
always
good to go for two.
it's always stressful when you have to run a contested election. I know what that's like, and it's not a lot of fun. And even though you're confident at the result, you just never know until you know. So congratulations to the three of you. You can now take a
Yeah.
sigh of relief and continue to do what we do and work hard to make this school as good as it can be and to serve the children and the community. I had the opportunity, like some of you, to attend the Hopkinson Blue Ribbon / Veterans Day ceremony, and it was very moving. And there's a lot of veterans there, and it was really impressive, especially hearing the 3 or 4 songs of the military branches. And as I heard it being played, I purposely were watching the veterans, and some of them were old folks, right, that probably had served maybe in Vietnam or Korea, et cetera. And you watch them and you can see their mouth moving and you can see their eyes watering up just a little bit, and they just, it's special. It's special for me to watch them be moved the way they are. And it's great to live in a community that honors that and respects that and pays tribute to people that really are selfless. And many folks go into the military without some altruistic, patriotic sense, but they often come out on the other side realizing that they're serving a much bigger purpose than just a job or themselves, et cetera. And it was really, really moving. It's also nice to obviously acknowledge the success of a particular school that's representative of all that we do in this district. And it's symbolic but important. And it's just a reminder of the work that we do and the success that we have in doing the work that we do. And it makes it all worthwhile for that moment. So congratulations again. And Thanksgiving coming up next week. Can't wait to have my kids home, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And then we'll see you, most of you, in CSBA up in San Francisco. Looking forward to that.
Okay, Mrs. Hill.
Thank you very much. President Russell, just a couple of things. I also attended with Mrs. Russell and Dr. Barkey Hopkinson, and that was just a beautifully done ceremony, and I thought everything went off just flawlessly. and they did just a lovely job. It was a little hot for the morning of November, but that's okay. We should not complain here in Southern California. I went straight from there to Oak's presentation for their veterans, and that was also, I love that all of them are a little bit different, and Mrs. Kaminsky did a beautiful job doing a brunch for them and having a reception for all of these veterans, and then had them up on stage, and the choir performed, the band performed, and I sat next to a couple of them and we're chatting with them and talked about how they hoped that their children or their grandchildren were proud that they were there. And it was just really, really touching. And Mrs. Kaminsky asked me to say a few words, and it just was so reflective for me because I had voted 2 days before that. And after I voted, I posted, as we all do, but I didn't post who I hope won or who I voted for. I posted to our veterans and to the sons and daughters of the people who made it possible for me to vote that day. And that's what, to me, the Veterans Day coming so close to voting day was so important, because we had an opportunity to thank them for being able to have our voices heard. Because without them, we don't get that opportunity. And so I was really glad to be able to share that as well. And it was just it was really beautiful what Mrs. Kaminsky and all of Oak did. They did a lovely, lovely job. And I also had an opportunity to go to a King and Queen pre-meeting event. Our educational foundation runs a fundraiser every year called the King and Queen of Hearts. Several of us up here have run before in the past, and this year they have a really great slate of people running, so find somebody to support. And it was just very nice of how, and everybody except for Mrs. Kaminsky are all community members. And that is just tremendous that our community would come together to support our schools like that. So I'm sure you'll be hearing more about that as we go on. I also attended as Dr. Holt, I never say his name right, Dr. Milt, said the Personnel Commission meeting, and it was really very insightful because as many boards do, you have commissions, you have committees that do some of the legwork for you and then bring recommendations to the board, and it was very nice to see how well they work together, what a balance they are, and I will say Dr. Pulver handled the meeting quite nicely. Thank you very much. And so it was really good to be part of it. A couple of things that I learned there that we didn't speak about is that the district office got flocked, I understand, by Hopkinson during Halloween. So, and that in December we will have something for our classified employees. We do a TK truck and to give them a little bit of just a little bit of fun during the holidays when they work, because they work during that time. Very often, I think the public thinks that if school's out, there's nobody working. There's still a lot of people that are working. So, and then also learned a little bit about how subs work for classified employees. And so that was fascinating to me. I didn't know that. So I appreciate being invited to that meeting. And two other things, congratulations. One, congratulations to the Taste for LaSalle and Larry Strother. They were given an award called the Best of Los Alamitos. It was in the News Enterprise, and they were the best annual community festival or event. And so I thought that was really amazing that it's something that is done for our school, but the whole community really participates in that. So congratulations to them. And then, yes, congratulations to Dave, Meg, and Karen. And as Dr. Barkey said, we know what it feels like, and we are very lucky that we get to continue to work with you and get to continue to do the work and have the incredible balance we have on this board. It's just a real honor. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. Russell.
You're welcome. Mrs. Catulli.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank the entire community for being reelected on the school board, and I know that Karen and Dave feel the same way. It is my honor to be able to serve the children of Los Alamitos. My kids have gone through here. I have grandchildren in the school district. I am passionate about public education. I really feel if you want to change the world, you educate those kids. That is how you change it. And to be given the opportunity to be able to attend meetings and go to meetings and sit on committees and do things that are more joyful, like walking through the classroom and seeing the kids' eyes light up when something clicks in their brain. It is truly a pleasure for me, and it is my honor, and I want to thank everyone in the community, because without the community support, we would not be here. We have work to do. You're never done in education, but we're on a great path, and we'll be able to keep working with the 5 of us. We always look like we agree, but you guys know here are the workshop questions all the time, and the questions that we send in after we get our agendas, like, why did we write this check? And it's good that we all have little differences of things that we're most concerned with, but it's a great balance, because you can't be concerned with everything all the time. So I'm really looking forward to the next 4 years. So thank you for that. I was also able to attend the La Salle Chamber breakfast. I went to the LAIF pre-planning party. Also, it was great. Great combination of people from different aspects within our community. It should be a fun contest this year. The McAuliffe play that they spoke about and that Mrs. Russell mentioned was absolutely fabulous. They had parts in Spanish, they had people singing, they had people dancing, they had artwork up. It was such a collaborative effort of all of the arts. I was just like in hog heaven there. And the kids did a really great job. And what was really neat is that they showed that they had 3 main characters that started out as children and went to young adulthood. So they had like 3 stages. They triple cast it. So there were 9 leads in the school play. I thought it was great. Anyway, it was quite enjoyable. Also I want to give you a quick update. I did have an ROP meeting, and what happened at the ROP meeting that kind of took me by surprise, and so I thought I'd share it. We're a 7-member board, and our member from Brea earlier the week on the Monday before our board meeting resigned from his Brea board. Lots of very good personal reasons on why he wanted to resign. But I came into the board member, it would be like if there was this place where Karen was supposed to be and it was empty. And he did come to later on and spoke to us and explained that this is what he did. And it was a good time for him in his personal life. And in December, as you guys know, when we do our organizational meeting, we give out those positions. And so we will have another Brea board member for, I hope, our next board meeting. We'll find out. But that was just really, it surprised me a lot. I will miss him. Joe Rulinos, his name. He is from Brea Orlinda Unified School District. And Brea and Los Al are the 2 smaller school districts in there. So he was like my buddy. So I'm looking forward to whoever else Brea gives us. But I was rather surprised. And another thing that ROP has started doing lately, which is really nice, is that they have spotlights in the beginning of our board meetings, similar to our presentations, where they'll spotlight someone either from like in the business office or one of the teachers or something like that. Because ROP is geographically so large, there are a lot of people you don't know as a board member. And it's really nice, when we get to see, somebody who works in an office we don't see, or a teacher that works in a high school that we don't get to see. So they started doing that, and I thought that was really nice. And that's it.
Mr. Boyer?
I want to thank the community. I want to thank Karen and Meg, and it is humbling. And when you're sitting there on a Tuesday night watching returns,
Yes.
and you start thinking, what if I don't get reelected? What am I going to do? It's become such a big part of my life. And I was thinking, or what if something happened to Karen or Meg, or just the dynamics of the board? And I think, as I was telling our guests from ROP, one of the best things I feel about Los Alamitos and the reason we've been so successful is we have a really strong board, and we have this continuity, and we all keep kids first, and we have a great superintendent and a great team. And so it's like, I'm going to run again. How can I not? It's a great team. I don't want to see it come apart. And although we don't agree on everything, I think we just have great, respectful discussions. And I think that's really important. And And I think that's the success of our school district. I see so many other boards that are always changing, other districts having issues. We always have issues, but we take them head on, and it's a privilege, and I'm humbled to have an opportunity to spend another 4 years doing this. Friday night, Vet Stadium, 7 o'clock. It's a big game. So our new coach and the team has done great. It'll be an awesome event. So if you had a chance to come watch some good football and see a student section second to none.
Yeah.
You know, the best in the world last year, whatever the word was, or, you know, I mean, be there Friday night at Vet Stadium. It's just going to be a lot of fun, and I wish the team a lot of luck. And then our band, you know, you get this news and you just take it in, like, oh, we're supposed to be ranked third in regionals, and we win regionals. You know, we're first place, and so I wish the band. I know we're going to have a kickoff for them. When is
It's tonight.
Is it tonight? See, it's tonight.
So
And
it's right now.
right now,
On our track. And
on our track.
They're going to nationals this weekend.
And they're going to nationals this
We have
weekend.
to work out Friday night.
I know, so you can't get to everything in this district, but I just wish the band the best of luck, and Tom Plunk and the whole crew. I mean, they're phenomenal. I drove by the band working out tonight on the way to the board meeting at 4:30 workshop, and there they are. I think they work harder than the football team sometimes, but I don't know. Yeah, at least seeing them on the field. And then lastly, if you have not been to one of our show choir performances, the holiday show's coming up. If you can get tickets, get them now. Try. They have like 5 performances. It's phenomenal. And again, Veterans Day. I'm awed that we just do such a good job in our community of honoring our vets, and with the Los Alamitos Joint Forces Training Base and the Naval Weapons Station. We've got a lot of veterans, and we owe them a lot. And I echo Diana's thoughts, that the fact that we're sitting there and got a chance to vote, we take it so for granted, but we live in a country, and thank God we had that privilege. And again, thank you to the community for their vote of confidence in us, and we'll look forward to the next 4 years. And go Los Al Friday night, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, I too, with Mrs. Tully and Dr. Barkey, you were there at the Los Al breakfast and the chamber breakfast. And then I had mentioned in my report that I went to the Oak Choir performance at McGaw. That was tremendous. It was absolutely fabulous. They did a wonderful job. And signing day, that was fun. It was really a very good thing. I also attended a focus group for the man who purchased the Bay Theater in Seal Beach. And they're looking to provide some space for our schools to do performances in. And I talked to Dave Mollenkamp at the Oak performance that they didn't have any side rooms, but they do, and they're going to be remodeling and fixing, building a mezzanine, and they're enlarging it so it's going to seat 425 people. So. Hopefully, we're going to be able to work something out. Some of our schools can use that as well. And the guy his passion is going in and doing these kinds of things. And he really is community-minded and wants to work with all community groups to do that. So I'm really fascinated with that. Then the Hopkinson flag ceremony. Now, I wasn't in the picture because I had to go to my practice of my choral group that I'm in. And by the way, I know every word for every one of those songs because we sang it to a group of vets the week before. I'm sitting there, I'm singing all the songs all the way through. So it's kind of neat to know them all. And I, too, want to thank the confidence that the community has placed upon us to serve a term again on this board. It's truly been a pleasure to be on this board, to work with everybody here, the administration, all the board members. I think we have the right tone and know what's important, the kids and their learning and getting them the best possible education that they can have. And so with that, if there's anything else for the good of the order, then no, okay, then we're adjourned.